Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to Footy Judgmo. Man United are not acting like a big club anymore. We all know that. Hit that like button if you just joined us. Make sure to like this video. It's going to be an explosive stream. We're not going to stay for long. But Tottenham Hotspur went to Old Trafford, won 3-0, and just walked away. And their manager saying, we just played our football. I grew up, and I swear to God, watching the Premier League. When I started watching the Premier League in 2002, Tottenham Hotspur used to go to Old Trafford with Berbatov, with Modric, and get beat by whoever starts for Man United, by the way. It didn't matter who started. Will knows this, Staffy knows this, Olo knows this, and Anthony knows this. It didn't matter who started for United, and it didn't matter who started for Spurs. We knew that one result is going to be there. Wallahi, I remember watching the Premier League on beIN Sports in 2007 in my mom's house. Arabic commentators. And they said in Arabic, and you guys don't understand. They said that in Arabic. And the Arab people know. It was Rauf Khalif. And he said one thing. He said, it doesn't matter what happens in this game. Man United are going to win. Tottenham Hotspur went to Old Trafford, literally, with Brennan Johnson and Timo Werner, who no Spurs fan like. I haven't seen one Spurs fan praise these two players, and literally played rondos at some point around Man United players. And it's okay. It is okay. And they walked away as nothing happened. And it is September 30th today, right? It is 11 p.m. in UK, September 29th, I'm sorry. It's September 30th in Australia. And Erik ten Hag is still managing Manchester United, by the way. He's not sacked. He's not sacked. It's okay. And the media, Man United, are still saying it's a process, don't expect results now, and all this garbage talk, right? We're still here, right? 3-0 at home from Liverpool. 3-0 at home from Spurs. 7-0 from Liverpool, 3-0 at home, right? From Bournemouth, 3-0 at home from Spurs. And he's still managing Manchester United. And it's okay. And some people are saying, what do you want us to do? Big up everybody that joined us. Hit that like button if you just joined us. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We have Staffy back on the channel. Big up Staffy for being here, of course. Big up, thank you so much for joining us, Staffy. We got Anthony from Inter Worldwide, 22 years of Man United support along with Inter with his Man United shirts. Of course, you see 22, sir. Anthony, 22 or 25 since 98, Man United. 99. He said the treble
98,
win.
yeah. No,
98.
like 97, 98, yeah, that time.
So 26 years old supporting Man United as well. Will is here, happy, praising his players, of course. Always here, just for the banter thing, just for fun. Will Footy Judge always here for the jokes.
There you go. I was going to say, I don't know who Olu is, but
Footy
you got the
Judge,
name
big
right.
up everybody that joined us from the Don HUSAM, of course. Al was fire. There was a lot of monologues from Hamza, a lot of monologues from everybody, from myself. I'm actually gonna start with Will. I'm sorry for everyone. Will, your team won today. Simple. How did you see the game today for at Old Trafford? Quickly.
So I'm not like uber happy, to be honest. Like I'm happy that we won, but Timo Werner,
He's not a football player. He's
like, all I can say is Man United fans, maybe or maybe they're not happy, but should be happy this Heung-min Son got injured during the Europa League fixture, because it should have been like 9-0 today.
You know, he missed 3 1-on-1s with Onana.
Yeah, then Son puts all of those away. Yeah. And then you have Papamata Sarr who can't head a ball either. Like, look, it was bad. It was really bad.
I don't think it's a testament to how good Spurs were, bro. Man United, what the fuck, bro? How are players stop chasing players? Like, how's even professional footballers, bro? How do you give up on the pitch? Like, I've never seen players give up in professional football. I've seen players can't chase. I have seen players can tackle. I've never seen professional footballers give up. Like, I've never seen this, bro. Diego Dallo in the first goal, bro, he gave up. He raised his hand as I give up. Bro, I'm sorry. And Staffy will respond to this. I have seen professional footballers with limited abilities. I will accept that. But I will never accept a footballer that gave up on the pitch. I will never accept players that run away. Staffy, you know what I'm talking about, the difference. Ability is one thing. Giving up is a whole different level of getting paid to play football, bro. Getting paid to play football and you give up, that's fucking nuts.
Look, okay, so here's the problem is, and I guess it was too late or something. It was past Ahmed's bedtime. But like the goal for him on the last time that I was on a Rivals Rumble show, for him to sit there and say that they're a better team than us and they have better players than us, that their back line is better than ours, that their midfield is better than ours, their front line is better than ours. It's just simply not true. Like, I've been trying to.
Ahmed.
From Al Ahwa.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is Ahmed rates his players, but he doesn't rate the manager. But he really thinks that some of the players are above their level. Like, I'm not saying they're shit players, but he rates them higher than what they actually are. Like, it's unbelievable.
So there's a middle ground there, if you don't mind me stepping in here, Will. I actually do rate my players more than the results are showing. However, yesterday I did a combined 11 with Jacob, and just because of the look, basically, I thought being on form, I thought the most I could get is 4 into that team. On a regular, maybe I would have said maybe 3. So there's a difference between me thinking that the players are better than what they're showing and me thinking they're completely better than everyone on Spurs. I mean, I will be honest. It's amazing how much coaching can make an average player look good, and it can make a good player look average. And Ange Postecoglou came into Old Trafford, scored 3 goals with a Bournemouth striker, a Nottingham Forest winger, and a Chelsea
and a non-footballer.
And a non-footballer, exactly.
Like, literally a non-footballer.
And he put 3. Now, that is not an excuse to anything other than showing what coaching could do. Because maybe when firing, yeah, you can argue that you need to have a little bit more talent in their squad. I do think we have more talent than what we show for. But I can't show it because the manager can't show it. And Ange Postecoglou is the complete opposite. Erik ten Hag is the evil twin of Ange Postecoglou. You give Ange Postecoglou, you give him water, he'll make wine out of it. Ten Hag, you'll give him wine, and he's gonna make chara out of it. Like, I can't think of anything.
Shit.
that's
Which
what he
means they're
showed.
gonna make shit out of it.
Yeah, he made shit out of it. Because this squad, listen, we got absolutely schooled today on the pitch.
But can
And
I
I wanna
counter
highlight
you
a
for
few
one
Spurs
thing, Staffy,
players.
before you go
Go
on?
ahead.
I'm sorry, because I don't want this to be. I know there's a lot of Anthony, guys, just to let you know, Anthony was not supposed to be here. But Anthony texted me and said, Mo, Anthony, by the way, if people don't know who Anthony is, I'm sure Will and you guys were on the streams with Anthony before from Inter Worldwide. He's the one who actually brought me to YouTube, right? This is the guy that made Footy Judge Mo who he is today. He is the one who gave me a chance on his platform. So Anthony is a Man United and an Inter fan. Anthony said, Mo, I got a lot to say. Can you give me the platform? Can I speak? And I'm like, of course. Right? But Staffy, I'm gonna interject and say something here.
Go ahead.
I actually think there's a cultural problem at Man United as a football club. And it's not only about the manager. You heard me on Al Ahwa and I saw your comment. If a club, and we at Inter, and Anthony being an Inter and a Man United fan will attest to this stuff. 13 years without your name being mentioned to big will make everyone that joined this club, right, have the wrong mentality stepping onto the pitch. At Inter, we had this, bro. It didn't matter who Inter signed, Staffy. We were just shit. And it didn't matter which manager we had. We were just below level. And we thought, oh, we're signing good players. And they turned into shit in a bit. It's the identity. It's the culture of the club. It's how the fan base sometimes. I'm telling you, Staffy, wallahi. And I heard this from people in Italy, because the first time I went to Italy to attend the game, it was 2016, right? And the problem is, I know, and I'm not here going at the people that go to the stadium, Staffy. But wallahi, people, you guys have to understand this, and Anthony knows this being an Italian heritage, right? As long as the fans inside the stadium, Staffy, still think that they are a big club and they are entitled, the culture and the ownership is a reflection of how the fans think. At Inter 2016, Staffy, I went to the stadium. They told us we're a big club. You know that year we didn't even make Champions League football. We didn't even make it, bro. We came 7th that season. I remember. But the fans, I spoke to the fans at the stadium in 2016. You know the Inter fans told me, bro, we are the 3rd biggest club in Italy. Bro, we aren't acting like it.
No,
On the picture of
I
the
didn't
pitch.
disagree with you, Mo. I actually left a comment saying I've never heard Mo spit more than today. You were actually spot on. But I can talk about the culture being wrong, and I can also talk about the coaching, because the manager comes out and says all the things that the fans want to hear. Oh, we're gonna win trophies. Oh, we won the most trophies since City. Of course, it's gonna give. There's people that don't sit here and do YouTube like we do. There's people that don't sit here and hear different opinions like we do. There's people that go to the game. They talk with the people outside the stadium. They chat a little bit, grab a beer, and then they go home, and that's it. They're not gonna sit here and speak to a Spurs fan like Will. They're not gonna speak to an Inter fan like you. They're not gonna speak to an Arsenal fan. What's my brother's name down there? Olu, you said?
Olu,
Olu,
yeah.
nice to meet you. They're not
Nice
gonna
to meet
speak to these people, so of course they don't know what you're talking about. I understand the cultural issue. The fans are hypocrite, by the way, because I said this earlier on Sage. I said, go ask United fans why they think the biggest club in England. You know why? What they're gonna say? They're gonna say we have the most Premier Leagues and we have 3 Champions Leagues. But when you ask them why do you want Ten Hag, they're gonna say, oh, what he wants is the Carabao Cup and he wants the FA Cup. So how come you didn't use these as a barometer to why we're the biggest club in England, but you're using it as a way to justify this manager being here? I don't disagree with you whatsoever. We are a big club by name only. We're not a big club by action. We're not a big club by anything else. We had so much juice that is running out. Once you run out of juice, you're not going to have any excuse to why you're a big club, because that was a very good point. 13 years, never once did you associate United's name with winning a Champions League or winning a Premier League. Everyone around us at least was there or thereabout. Even Spurs reached a Champions League final. Spurs actually lost the league. I think they finished second like twice or something like that.
It
Or
was
they went at Leicester
second,
once, and
third,
I think there
second.
was
Yeah.
I don't remember the other year. So they actually had like a little bit of a run where, you know what, they could have won something. They just didn't. When is the last time United been in that? And I'm not gonna lie, Mo. I shouldn't even be in this conversation right now. Not me personally, me as a United fan. If there's a big table, I've lost my spot at this big table right now. I should be sitting at the kids' table right now, because I shouldn't even be talking about winning trophies. I am deprived of basic football. Okay, This is very, very worrying. We used to rage at Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and Moyes for not winning us the league. I'm far from that now. I'm looking at a team that doesn't do the basics well. Spurs today, listen, they were very good, and I'm gonna give them their props. And I actually want to highlight a couple players later in the show. But Spurs today, and I think Will might even agree with me, they didn't do anything scintillating. They didn't do anything out the norm. They just played their football. Van de Ven did what he does every game, carry the ball into the midfield. Solanke did what he does every game, just do a little bit of hold up play, get into the box. Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson did the same thing that they do. Well, Timo Werner doesn't play all the time, but Brennan Johnson did the same thing he does every time. He just runs, tries to get into the box, take base shot. I didn't see anything to them where I'm like, wow, look at the Spurs team. They just play basic football. I don't have football basics, Mo. I need to go back to bread and butter. My fridge is empty right now. I don't have water, I don't have eggs, and I don't have milk. I don't have basics. Every house should have these three. You need to have bread, milk, and eggs. I don't have them. Everyone around me is talking about, oh, can I get steak in? Can I win this championship? Can I compete for this? I don't have anything. And this is what the reality of what you've become. Erik ten Hag is not coaching us enough to be a basic team. I go into games and my defense and my midfield to the front line are split like the Red Sea. That run that Van de Ven made today, Van de Ven is amazing. I think Van de Ven is probably one of the best center backs, if not the best center back in recent years at carrying the ball. I cannot remember a center back being so good at carrying the ball. Okay, he's I think he's elite at that. But you know why I can't praise it too much today? Because I just saw it against FC20. Can you name me that player that ran through our midfield against FC20? You don't remember him anymore.
Same goal.
And it's the same exact goal, Mo. Exactly. And that is the point that people don't want to understand, Mo. My clip that went viral on the Football Terrace, Mo, on my match reaction, and I'm going to move on the mic to someone else because I'm rambling for too much. I looked at some of the comments after Terry posted on Instagram. A lot of people said it's in an individual error. You can't blame the manager. You can't blame the manager. How can I not blame the manager when I see this being done at least once every game? Sometimes it doesn't convert to a goal, so you don't notice it. The average rival doesn't watch every little minute in every game to United games like I do, because I watch every United game. And I can tell you this happens to us at least once a game. It's just highlighted because we've seen it convert to goals the last 2 times. Why are we not questioning why my front line is pressing so high that got beat by a simple dribble by a pacey player and he met no one on the way to his center back? Deluded should not be dealing with Van de Ven one-on-one when he's the center back, and he should have a whole line of midfield and a front line in front of him. These are questions that should be asked to the manager. But there's a lot of questions I want to ask to the manager that no one wants to address. But go ahead.
So I was going to say on that goal, I think you're talking about the first goal, right? A couple of things I noticed at least. One, obviously, there was a mistake in losing the ball that high up the pitch, right? And once it goes to Van de Ven and he starts taking off, the biggest mistake was, like you said, you rightly said, the midfield. Ugarte for some reason, and now it's just starting. I think again it's too early, so let's not just say he's rubbish. But we're starting to see why
he's rubbish. He's rubbish. Say it. Don't be shy. He's rubbish.
Listen. I'm the kind of person.
He's rubbish. Just say it.
I don't do that. I give enough time to see if someone is rubbish or not.
All right, I'll say it for you. He's rubbish.
Okay, you can say it for me exactly. But you can see why there were doubts about him in PSG, because he was like a second late. Like his brain just sort of worked a second late. For some reason, he was just running backwards in a straight line as opposed to covering space. And the worst thing you can do is give Van de Ven time to run. And then obviously Mazraoui, the issue with him was that he was looking at
Mazraoui.
Yeah, they all say his name wrong and it pisses me
off. Bro, Mazraoui.
Maz, am I Arab? I'm not Arabic. I'm from West Africa, not North. Come on,
just
my brother.
Just switch the letters together. You don't have to be Arabic to know how to.
My brother, I'm from West, not from North. Come on. Okay.
It's
Mazraoui. There we go. No, but he was obviously looking after Werner, and by the time he reacted again, it was too late. But to your point, Staffy, I think there's structural problems in that team. Like anyone can see it. It's I think saying Spurs play their own football. I think I said before, okay, let me take a step back. If United were going to do a running game against Spurs, it was the totally the wrong thing to do, right? You don't go pace for pace against the Spurs team, right? Arsenal, when we played them, we respected them enough to know that we're not going to outrun them, especially with the players we had. For some reason, that lineup that started with the front three, granted, I think Xerxes is not the fastest player on earth, but the other two it was built for pace, and it just made no sense. And that's where I just thought that from the starting team, it just seemed like Ten Hag just got it wrong. You don't go running against the Spurs team. You respect them. So I think Spurs actually played all right, but everything else around
But we
it.
didn't, Olu. Why do you think we were trying to run him? We conceded that goal from a counterattack, but we knew that was going to happen. Like we
The
knew
reason-
that was going to happen.
Arsenal defended deep against Spurs. Man City defended deep. Do you know I was on the other, I can't remember. I was on Dampo. I was on some channel, okay, the other day on Football Terrace stuff. They asked me, how do you think it's gonna go? I think Ten Hag is so delusional to the point he's the only coach in the Premier League that will try to go to with me, or was it on my channel? Bro, Staffy, I said the only delusional coach in the Premier League that think he can go toe-to-toe with Spurs is Eric Ten Hag. And I said, that's why Man United are going to lose. And everyone
But I don't
told
think
me,
he tried to go toe for toe, toe to toe.
You
I think the fact
conceded the goals on counter-attack.
No, but here's the thing, Mo. We usually leave a huge gap when we press, and I need you to pay attention how United press. Usually when teams press, they have their fullbacks high.
Stop it.
So
Stop
one
here.
second.
No one press.
No, hold on. Hear me out. When we went for that counterattack and played that long ball to Rashford or Garnacho, I don't remember who it is. Just look how high they were, and then look where our backline is. Usually, functional teams move in a pack. When you go up, the defenders and the fullbacks push up. So when you lose the ball, instead of having someone run at you for 40 yards, you're probably 10 yards closer to him. If we would have been in what's his name, Van de Ven's face, he would have never done that. But look at it again. You have Rashford and Garnacho all the way up, and then you got your center back sitting on the edge of the box. How is that a compact team?
It isn't. But that's the point.
No one, I'm telling you, Man United today tried to press first. Bro, Arsenal didn't try to press first. Bro, nobody presses first, bro. Just don't.
Because
it's on the counter with the high. You literally, Man United today allowed Spurs, right, to defend deeper. You know, Spurs don't defend deep, right? Spurs today, look at the positional places of them. They're like, all right, this team is out. We're going to hit them on the counter. Kulusevski and Brandon Johnson has so much space behind your line. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
So that's I was going to say this, right? If you especially when you got pacey players, the one thing you don't want them to do is to try and get behind you, right? So so again, I'm not gonna make it about Arsenal because it's not a show about Arsenal, it's about you guys. But at least with the Arsenal, what you saw was that they basically said to Spurs, we can see you in front of us. You're less dangerous if you get in behind us, right? And anytime you get in behind us, we're going to close that space down. With United, it just felt like it was like, okay, players, the ball's gone into space. What do we do next? Like it was. I said to Will before we started. I said this was the most baffling game to watch because it just felt like United had no clue what they were doing on the pitch, and this was even with 11 men.
I thought that the team literally, bro, this is like amateur team, bro. Some of the movements are just fucking amateur. It is so reliant on like if Rashford can come up with something, we'll score, right? If Garnacho come up with something, bro, and that's bro. Wallahi, I told Terry this and Dev and the guys on the Football Terrace. They said, and Naji, right? Big up all of you guys. But I told you, until I see the same pattern of play for 2 consecutive games, I am not going to say it's getting better. The sporadic, bro, you watch Spurs, even if you disagree with them, even if you disagree with the way, for example, Tottenham Hotspur, like even Will tell you, but we see the same play over. You can disagree with it, but you see the same play over and over again. Arsenal, the same. Liverpool, the same, right? Anybody in the league, you have the same play. Freaking the only team in the top teams that don't have patterns of play are Man United.
Bro, I said that, but Mo, I said that after the Palace game. Were you there on the match reaction?
Bro, it's sporadic.
Weren't you there on the match reaction in the Palace game, or was it HUSAM?
They defended
everyone was like, "Oh, we kept the ball today." I was like, I don't think it's coaching. I was like, because we didn't do the same thing multiple times. It was just individual moments because Palace gave us the ball, and I rated the team that we had on the day. we had Ericsson playing, we had Ahmad playing, we had technical footballers. I said, when you look at it, none of our build-up was the same going over and over again. And they tried to say, oh, but he's using different individuals, but for the same idea. I was like, I didn't see that. I just saw players that could hold the ball, just move it around. I was like, I don't think this is down to tactics. And the proof is we went to FC20. I didn't see any patterns. And obviously against Spurs, I didn't see any patterns. It's a delusion that every time United fans just see a glimmer of hope, they think, oh, there you go, he's got it right. He didn't get it right. Sometimes we just luck into something. Because that we played a back five, which means we had an open midfield against Palace. But we didn't have an open midfield against FC20, and we didn't have an open midfield today. We went back to playing teams that play 4-3-3 and teams that are aggressive on the ball, and we just looked all out of sorts. So Ange Postecoglou, and this is why I always defend. I'm tired of people saying I twerk for Spurs. Today, everyone wants to glaze Spurs when I've been talking about them for over a year. Ange Postecoglou.
I'm not gonna glaze Spurs, bro. Because I know
it's fun. You don't have to.
In 2 games, he's gonna play a high line again, and they're gonna concede.
Of course, we'll always have.
Until I see the adaptability. Until I see the adaptability he did to, bro. I've never seen Spurs
that's a different
defend
point.
in
I agree
18.
with you. But he can coach a team to play at least one style. You just said they have repetition. They had Son out today, and they still managed to attack. If this was United and we had one of our best players out, they would have made every excuse in the book. They would have been like, "Oh, we don't have Son, so we couldn't score against Spurs." It's delusion, bro.
They had no DM today. They had no DM today, bro.
There's no. They pulled up to my gap.
They're playing 2 attacking midfielders in the 8s, bro, and 2 wingers that, bro. Solanke touched the ball like what? Like how many? To be honest with you, I think it's too easy for Spurs to play against Man United. It's too easy.
By the way, they average more shots against us this season than any other opponent. And they played Karabakh and they played what's the other team? Coventry. So they managed to get more shots against us than they got against Karabakh.
You know, they had 5 point something G8 so what's it called? XG today.
XG 4 point, it was like 4.76.
5.
Yeah.
5.
If it wasn't for Werner, wallahi, if Son played today, it would have been another
If
6.
it wasn't for Werner, you would have scored 5 goals at least.
Yeah, we had 9 big chances.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal created 10 big chances yesterday. Today Spurs created 9. But the difference is Arsenal playing at the fucking Emirates.
We're playing Leicester.
Old Trafford. You guys, we're all old here. That's the thing. We know you go to Old Trafford, you're 1-0 down in minute 1, and then you're chasing the game. I remember this saying.
Yeah.
You go to Old Trafford, you're 1-0 down.
But look, this is the problem that I have.
That's why they need to tear that stadium down, bro.
that too.
There's no fear factor no more. They didn't
and it leaks. But the problem I have though, like I love English football. It's my favorite country to watch, right? As far as professional football is concerned. The problem I have though is this like concept or idea of heritage matters, right? Because we and maybe it's the franchise system in the U.S. or something like that. But growing up, heritage matters. People talk about the Dallas Cowboys, or people talk about the Denver Broncos during under Elway, or people talk about the 49ers under other things. But my point is like nobody talks about them now, right? Or under Brady, you got the New England Patriots. The Patriots are garbage now. Nobody talks about them now. Nobody says, "Oh, you're going to New England, and so because it's New England, you're going to lose." Like, no, we're all realistic on the fact that the current time, just because you have a great history, right, a legacy in the game and in the league, doesn't mean that you're going to be a good team now. And that's the weird thing that I find in English football a lot. Is there's this weird thing, right? Yeah, we're Manchester United. We were good 20 years ago, so that means we're going to beat you. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, you got to focus on now. Like, what's the reality now? Like, stop talking to me about, like, it's like when Arsenal fans told me they won a league 20 years ago. I'm like, I don't care, bro. What have you won big now? Right?
Bro, it's not about us today.
I want to hear Anthony's take on this. Can I
don't say Arsenal because it triggers him.
No, just what you say F me for.
Anthony. What are you saying?
Good morning, good afternoon, gentlemen. Nice to meet Stappy. I think it's the first time I've met you as well, and it was nice to meet Oliver as well off camera. Great day indeed. No, I had a fair bit to say, but the panel's covered it pretty well so far. But I guess I'll piggyback off what Will just said right there. I don't give a shit what it was like 10, 20 years ago. There is so much fundamentally wrong with the culture of this club. What you're seeing right here is the most extreme far right version of the badge being too heavy on the front for anybody's name on the back. No one really gives a shit about this club at the end of the day. Yeah, it's nice to come and say in interviews, oh, I'm playing for the best club. I always dreamed of playing for Manchester United. You are a modern day athlete. You are looking after you and you only. If I can compare it to anything as an Inter fan, I have loved nothing more than seeing athlete after athlete walk through that Juventus door and play poorly in retrospect to what their fans expect for the weight of their badge on the chest. No one has come into that club and performed well in retrospect to them for the last 5 years, the same way no one's really done it well for Manchester United over the last 12, 13 years. And that's not to say that I'll get into Ten Hag in a second, because he should have been gone a long time ago. Every manager has received gifts. Erik Ten Hag is just the only manager to really write the Christmas list properly and get everything that he's asked for. But don't tell me that the club still shouldn't have started to fundamentally plan in the background for the success it was trying to replicate on the pitch when you signed the likes of Falcao, Depay, Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Schneiderlin, all for Louis van Gaal. Where was the work off the pitch then? The rebuilding of the stadium, the redoing of the training facilities. Nothing, all the papering over the cracks. Mourinho comes in, gets a few men he's asked for, and then he gets men he didn't ask for. But look at that list. Pogba, Bailly, Lindelof, Matic, Ibra, Sanchez. This club has always gotten more than enough to compete. This club, squad-wise on paper, is never too far away from doing something about it. We just can't do shit with the tools that we've got. We are always making sure it's one step behind. And then you get to Ten Hag, who is like the biggest mission fail I've ever seen in my life in terms of what you've asked for versus what the product is on the pitch. From Lissandro, I think Malacia is his signing as well, right? I mean, I'm trying to think of like the low-key ones before I get to, you know, latest products of Ugarte, which is too early to say, but you know, you get Onana, you get Mount, you get Casemiro, you get Anthony, you get Højlund, you get everybody that you could have asked for possibly. And that's not even to mention the players that came through on loan. The rotated. I've never seen players come through on loan the way that they have under Terry and Erik Ten Hag, man. Amrabat, Weghorst. Who else did I say off camera? Sabitzer as well. My goodness.
Left back from Spurs.
That's it. Reguilon as
Reguilon.
well. It's an absolute disaster from top to bottom. And attitude reflects leadership. And the attitude at the moment on that pitch is exactly the sort of leadership that would be reflected with a bum like Bruno fucking Fernandes as your manager, who wasn't even the best player at Sampdoria or Udinese when he was there at Serie A. There was no lineup of clubs except for us that was coming on, knocking on Sporting Lisbon's door. I mean, show me that long list of clubs that wanted Bruno Fernandes. I'm not saying he's a horrible player. I'm saying he's nowhere near captain material for Manchester United. And for as long as any fans keep setting this sort of standard that, oh, if we just do this, it'll be okay. If we just do this, it'll be okay. Niente, none. I'm not having none of that shit. This Ineos guy is there to clean it up properly. Clean it up properly and start by getting a manager who, this is his third season, if I'm not mistaken, looks 3 years further behind. I don't know what else to say, man. Like, I don't see a silver lining. I was enjoying a convo with Will and Olu before we got on stream, and I go, it's a real death. Manchester United are suffering a real death. These people were trying to like keep it alive. Like that Manchester United that you know is dead. They need to resurrect a new image because you can't replicate a dynasty like Ferguson again. Everyone is a nostalgia merchant. It's not practical in the real world. There won't be another Ferguson. There won't be another 20-year dynasty. Once Man City's done with this dynasty, you probably won't see another 5-year dynasty again for a long time. That's just my opinion. Happy to be wrong. This isn't La Liga. We're not Real Madrid. Nobody is. But I think that Manchester United need to just take a big step back and realize what the situation is now, what Will said, not try and clutch little bits and straws as what it used to be and what it could be. It is what it is. I'm here for the ride,
like
man.
this.
I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. I'm a big fan of uncomfortable truths versus comforting lives.
I like this because a lot of people tell me, but we were the biggest club in England. Yes, over a period of from 92 to 2012. Yes, you were. because of one manager. That's what you have watched. Nothing else. It was one manager only. You're not Real Madrid. They always say, no matter who's coaching Real Madrid will always be at the top. Right? They might have some time when they don't win the Champions League, but they're always there and thereabout, which is what I said before. Real Madrid name will always be there. Until Manchester United as a football club realize that Ferguson isn't coming back. When this guy, Erik ten Hag,
he actually didn't come back for the second half. I don't know if he quite literally left at halftime. Like he didn't come back to see.
He had to go to sleep.
Like my point about this, it's very important for Man United fans, because Man United have millions and millions of fans around, right? And they have different opinions. And until they realize where they are as a club now, forget the history and the trophies and the 20 years that you won plenty and multiple, right? You have to realize where you are now, right? It is not about the names you bring in, right? It is not about that. It's not about the name of your club or the money. And by the way, this can go. And do you want the truth, Staffy, before I hand the mic to you? I can't remember who called in one time on a call-in show for me and told me one thing. Told me, Man United, it cannot get worse than this. Just imagine the Man United mentality. It cannot get worse than this. Do you know where I heard this before? Rafa Benitez at Inter. It cannot get worse than this. Until we finished 8th. And then
has it got worse? It got worse for 8 years. That was one of the high points of the Bente era. What are you talking about? Second?
Do you know before that stuff you won 5 leagues in a row and a treble,
bro.
I remember that. I remember
and you know what happened? Inter fans, my friends in Egypt. I was in Egypt. They told me, it's not gonna be worse than this. It's not gonna be worse than this. I'm like, and I believed it, but because I've been there, bro. Arsenal fans. I remember the shit, bro. I remember the shit Arsenal fans when they said it cannot get worse than on AFTV, bro. It's recorded on camera, bro. In Arsenal, they said it cannot get worse when they were winning cups. They said it cannot get worse.
And you remember what Wenger said? Wenger said, "Be careful what you wish for." I always remember him saying that at the end of an interview. He said, "Be careful what you wish for." And also, sorry, Steph, before you go, and just to bring back closer. I mean, so Arsenal is a recent example, but you look at Leeds. Leeds at one point were one of the biggest teams in English football.
It won't reach that level because of the
money. Wait. I'm just saying. Historically, you look at it. Liverpool, Shankly era through the 80s, the most dominant team. Nottingham Forest before that. History has shown that eventually dynasties fall, but I think the point is true now. After this Man City team, I think most teams, because you've got billionaire owners, are now coming closer and closer together, where you have to have an outlier such as Pep Guardiola to be able to dominate a league. I think once Pep goes, you're going to see more sharing of titles. It's not going to be like what it was before. I think that's a very valid point. But I think also that, the truth is United fans have to just accept this isn't the Ferguson era anymore. We're so far away from that. And I said this about Arsenal. We had to do a root and branch, like clear out of what we were before after when Wenger left. United have to do the same. If Ineos come in, or Ineos have come in, and if they're going to do that, great. It has to start with a manager, because this manager, as an Arsenal fan, keep him forever, right? That's my bias. As an Arsenal fan, keep him forever. If I was a Man United fan, I'll be saying, and I think Staffy, you're there, and I know you've said it before, and I think most rational Man United fans probably are hearing right now saying it has to be a root and branch. We have to tear it up and start all over again.
Yeah, but they said that 3 years ago.
No, but
that was
okay.
Staffy told them 3 years ago.
So we've been saying this for a while.
It's a fresh start. We're getting the Ajax manager. We're getting new players.
So when we say tear it all up and start all over again, we technically did that because we're being ran by different people who are taking decisions right now versus the last, I would say they came in 7 months ago. So for a whole decade, there was different decision makers. So there's different decision makers now. So technically, you could say that they tore it all up and started. I wouldn't say they tore it all up because the Glazers is still there. In footballing sense, they're not though. They're just there to collect money, but they're not running operations no more in terms of football. So it is different people making decisions. It's like a business getting new ownership. It's a new ownership right now. You ever see a business that says new ownership? The menu is new, the design is new. That's what Ineos are trying to do. The one thing they didn't do yet and they didn't address is the manager. So in that sense, in a footballing sense, 100%, they need to tear it up. And when I say tear it up, it's mainly the managers and the manager and some of the old players. I personally came out this summer and spoke about our signings, and every one of them, bar Ugarte, I was okay with. Because I looked at the signings that we made this summer versus the signings we made last 2 summers. I felt like the signings from the last 2 years, they were too customized for the manager. And I didn't like that. I felt like they were building a team in the image of just Ten Hag, which shouldn't be the case. Big clubs should always be building teams in the image of how they want to play football. Someone like Real Madrid, they chop and change managers all the time, but they always find success because they never built teams just to accommodate that manager. We're nowhere near Real Madrid, but we should be aiming to be back at that level. Now, I look at what we have right now. I don't mind some of the players that we have. I don't mind some of the signings that we made. At the end of the day, this manager has failed everyone in this team. Some of them are not good enough. Bruno needs to go. Rashford needs to go. Some of the old players from the old regime, which is not a lot of them, they need to go because they're not the same team from 3 years ago. But you look at this manager, and there's no way you're telling me you can't find another manager. There's about, and I used to say there's about 10 managers in the Premier League that will probably coach this team better. I changed that. I was wrong. There's about 15 managers that could do that. Steve Cooper managed a better game against Arsenal the other day than Ten Hag managed a game today against Spurs. And that speaks volumes. This is why right now, I think this is the biggest test for Ineos. And I'm actually, for once, looking at Ineos and I'm looking at them seriously. Because the honeymoon is over. Okay. I've never been married, but I'm pretty sure people who get married, they go on the honeymoon. Everything is nice. You're out every day. You're going to the beach. You're going to get cocktails. You're going to the bar. You're clubbing. Then you go back home and you start seeing, all right, how is our life really going to look like? And that's how I'm looking at Ineos right now. What are Ineos going to do when actually now shit is hitting the fan? Because we gave you time to come in and introduce yourself to everyone and speak to the cooks and the secretaries, have a little laughs, haha, let me show you around the city. But now you've been here long enough where I need to start holding you accountable for big decisions. Because big clubs, you don't just take decisions when everything is easy and rosy. Oh, it would be so ideal that every time I want to address an issue, oh, let's wait until the summer. Let me give a manager a whole season. Oh, let's wait until this. Let's wait until that. Sometimes you need to take tough decisions, and you need to take decisions that are not easy. And that's what big clubs do. Chelsea have done that for years. The difference between Chelsea and Arsenal, and I'm not trying to even take a dig at you, the reason why Chelsea were successful in recent years and Arsenal weren't is because their ownership and their management were a lot more ruthless.
Yeah,
They would sack a manager whenever they felt like it was, and they kept rotating and rotating until it worked. Whereas Arsenal was a little bit too rosy. Oh, but Wenger this, that, and that's when you see a ruthless ownership that wants to succeed at any cost, and someone who's dilly-dallying. I'm looking at Ineos right now. Your honeymoon is over. You came in and you told us all this stuff that everyone wants to hear. Now you got to show me if you could do that. Oh, we want the best in class. All right. I'm not expecting you to go get Pep tomorrow because that would be unrealistic. But you told me you want the best in class. If you go on and you go to one of the biggest clubs or just any of the clubs that are doing well and you splash money on the table and you're like, you know what? I'm taking this manager, whether you like it or not, because I'm a big club. I need to act like it. Then I'm going to be like, you know what? Fair enough, Ineos. You're actually backing what you're saying and you're making moves towards that. But if they sit here and say, oh, we're going to assess again, you've been saying that since the Palace defeat. They were going to fire him after the Palace defeat, and they just didn't think, oh, you know what? There's no suitable replacement right now. I understand that. Maybe it's not the ideal situation for you, but there's an emergency. When there's an emergency, you need to know what's okay. We got to take a quick decision. It's not calculated. It's not the best, but we're going to make the best calculated decision in such a short time. And you've had enough time to start looking for other managers since Ten Hag has been shit to last season when you came in. So I expect you at least to have about 5 managers on the list where you're like, you know what? We think we could get 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's not the ideal situation, but we got to change something. Something has to give.
So I agree. Listen, I agree with you. Something has got to give. So there's two things I'm going to say. The first thing, I think I've said it to Mo before, and and I think Mo understands why I say this. When you hear fans talk about the backroom staff, there's a problem with the club, right? We hear it with Tottenham and Daniel Levy. Arsenal, we had it with talking about Raul Sanelli and so on and so forth. You guys, why I hear from a lot of fans, from Man United fans, Ineos. During your glory years, I never heard about Edwards. I never heard about. You just heard the manager's name. So
No,
until
that's not true. David Gill was actually
David Gill, yeah, but
what we did.
of course, but you didn't hear his name being talked about. He just did his
David
work.
Gill?
Yeah,
David Gill and Sir Alex were like this.
I know, but I'm saying I was there. I remember you guys didn't talk about him. You knew about him, but he was never mentioned that much, right? It was all about Sir Alex. He was the figurehead, right? And I judge clubs in the way they run based on how much you hear about the backroom staff. Because when you start hearing more about the backroom staff, you know there's a problem, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I agree with you. Something has to change, right? However, the one thing I'll say,
you get clipped by no context again.
The corner happened, and I was like, you know what's left? Solanke hasn't scored a goal yet. I was like, that's the only thing left in the script. I think they redid the corner or something like that, and then he scored. And I started. I was like, I just told you guys. And I started hysterically laughing because I called it, bro, like 30 seconds before it happened. I was like, Solanke goal is left.
But I was going to say the second thing I'll say is this, right? Is you do need change, but the thing about change is that it has to come with a manager who has a vision, and then that vision has to fit with exactly what the club's vision is, right? Because what you don't want is, and I know if the new thing is just get a coach. The club will figure out the players, just get a coach. I think that whilst that works for institutions such as Real Madrid, which have done that for years, so it works for them, right? The figurehead is Perez, and everything fits within that. I think United need to have a manager whose vision is dedicated to the same vision as your football directors, your owners, and so on and so forth. Not just someone who's just going to come in to
disagrees with that.
A short term.
I'm telling you, all of this is load of crap.
No, it's not.
I'm telling you.
To be aligned with the ownership, of course. I mean, you wouldn't hire anyone who wasn't aligned with you.
I'm giving you that. I'm giving you. Listen, my opinion about this is that at the end, the manager. And I know everyone in the Premier League, this is a new thing in the Premier League now. Oh, the manager is just the coach. Bro, at the end, the one who sits in a room in front of 40 people, including players, staff, a medical team, and gives lectures every day is the manager. It's not the director.
You agree with me? No, you agree with me?
No, because you said you need the manager that aligns. Bro, it doesn't matter. Right? I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. What matters at the end is you get someone that will engrave a winning culture and a culture at the club that is different. At the end, Ange Postecoglou has nothing to do with Daniel Levy, right? Mikel Arteta has nothing to do with the Cronkies. Jurgen Klopp, I'm telling you, Jurgen Klopp, right, is a winner. The freaking FSG are losers, bro. FSG only want to make top 4, but he didn't accept that. The problem with the new thing is that a lot of people are saying that Man United, the coach is this, the coach is that. I get it. Until you get a real coach, a real guy, a man that can talk, that can deliver a message, it is not going to happen. Because I'm telling you what is going to happen. When you get that guy, Staffy, like, and I'm giving an example, like the Antonio Contes, like the Thomas Tuchels, when they see something wrong with the ownership, they speak about it.
Yeah,
they say the truth.
I'd take Ange for that. Wallahi, I would take Ange.
They say the truth. They call out ownerships, right? And that happens all the time. Or they act and they win. That is what I want. Like a lot of people now, the ownerships do this, the ownerships do that. I am fine with it. But at the end, you need a guy that will absolutely lead. And that leader cannot be your sporting director because the players don't meet the sporting director every day, Staffy. You know what I'm talking about? You meet the manager. If the manager has,
was talking about, he was talking about aligning with goals, though, Mo. I think that's what he was
exactly.
We all know what the goals are. The goals is to win. That's it. Big clubs, the goals are to win.
But I'll put it this way. You've worked in a company. Imagine your CEO has a vision, and then you're saying, "I don't believe in that vision. I'm going to manage my team."
Explain to me. Give me an example.
Why I mean by that is, for example, so if my United's vision is okay for the next 5 years, what we're going to do is we're going to grow our youth team, right? I'm going to have a whole bunch of players who are going to come together and then build a culture that's based on that, right? And the manager says, actually, forget that. My vision is going to be just to try to get some old players in and sort that out, right? There's going to be a clash. And when you have a clash, it's difficult to run a business with two different voices, because you got a voice of the ownership who automatically are the ones who end up paying people's wages versus the manager who has to speak to them, like you said, on a day-to-day basis. So that's where there's got to be an alignment in terms of vision.
Question then? Can I rebuttal that with one word?
Go on.
Hypothetically, and Staffy, Will, Anthony involved, and everyone in the chat, right? Man United next season get Pep Guardiola. Is there gonna be a vision, or is just we're gonna win the year after?
But the team will go with Pep's vision.
Hypothetical.
It depends on if the ownership decides to back Pep Guardiola like City did.
Yeah.
Or Barcelona did.
Here is the come. Man United have the same money as City.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But they have to choose to use it in the way. They have to choose to basically hand over the keys to the company. Like, Pep Guardiola makes every football decision at Manchester City. There's nobody there at Manchester City.
They do make decisions.
No, hold on. There is what I mean by making all decisions. There is no one at Man City that walks up to Pep Guardiola and says no.
Or you're wrong.
Right? Like, that doesn't happen.
I'm sure they do. They didn't want to pay the money. No, they do. My point about this is that, guys, I'm giving Pep Guardiola as an example because there are other winners, right? There are winners out there, right? My point about it, I'm giving you one example. If Antonio Conte tomorrow is hard at Man United, do you think he's going to do a 5-year vision?
No, he doesn't want it right now.
He doesn't do 5 years vision, bro. It's either you're going to hand me the keys, he said you're going to give me the players to fucking win, or you're a fucking loser and I'm walking out. He did that with Inter, bro. Bro, he won the league.
He did it with Tottenham.
Bro, he won the league. They sold Lukaku, he walked.
He said win the league, by the way, Will. So he didn't do it with Tottenham.
Bro, Antonio Conte's, I'm telling you.
No, he said you give me what I need, or
I know. I was being silly.
Antonio Conte's aim at Spurs was to win the league, bro. The guy, when he joined Inter, we barely made Champions League. He told the ownership, you're spending that much money, and I'm challenging for the league. He didn't challenge for real. He came second. The year after, he won the league. And by the way, Inter were in the mud, bro. Guys, we made Champions League football by a goal that was scored by a player we already signed. Just to let you know. No. Sorry. De Vrij, that time, we scored on a defender that already signed for Inter, that was playing for Inter the year after. We made Champions League. We made Champions League. I'm just telling you. He actually
gave a penalty away. He went in 2-footed to Icardi. But, you know,
I'm telling you, we signed a player and we were playing that team at the last day and we won 3-2 by that defender being there. Just to let you know.
Are you saying? Wait, no, stop! No. You've just opened up a can of worms. Are you saying we need to do an investigation?
The player intentionally, not intentionally, but at the end, the player signed in January for Inter, and then happened to be the last game of the season against them. My point about this.
So they were cheating like Juventus. Okay.
I am not. Come on. We're never like Juventus.
We discovered something here, guys.
My point about this, I am saying we were in the mud. You hire a top coach, right? By definition, he changes the culture and the aim for the players and the club, right? That is what I'm talking about. This whole process, with all due respect, Olu, happens for clubs that don't have money to spend. Man United fucking have a lot of money to spend to back coaches. Imagine if they get to, let me ask you guys something. If Man United get Thomas Tuchel tomorrow and give him tools, do we think he wins Europa League and next season in the Champions League he might go to like the Europa League?
I think he improves a lot. Can I just say, like, I'm not the biggest Thomas Tuchel fan, but right now you need the closest thing to a drill sergeant identity within the grounds of your training center and within the grounds of your sporting complex. Whatever the vision is off the pitch at the moment, that can still go on in the background this season. But this season you need results and you need it quickly. So they can go down two routes here. Either you can go up to Thomas Tuchel and say, look, on paper, you are probably the most likely to get a style of play and a systematic process out of this group of athletes. And you are probably the most likely to collect the competition points from now to the end of the season. Or you go right up to any of the three yes men in the category, which are Ruud van Nistelrooy, Gareth Southgate, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer again. These are your options. Either go down the Tuchel route or go down the yes man route. And I don't know what they're going to go with, but there aren't as many managers available as people think. Funny enough,
I hope you guys get Gareth Southgate.
Oh, bro, that would be the worst of the lot. No one's mentioned Max Allegri, which is not a good decision either. I just thought that his name would have come up by now.
If they get Gareth
he's probably the biggest profile out of a job.
If they get Gareth Southgate, I want press conferences live at Old Trafford. I'm traveling and I'm booking tickets to watch. I want that. It's fun. It's amazing.
You're never gonna see me on YouTube again.
It's likely. It's likely to happen, man. Nothing will surprise me now.
That. My point about this, Manchester United, this notion. By the way, Thomas Tuchel might not be the right guy for Man United. Might not be. Might be a short-term solution just to get the mentality back up a little bit at the club. But this new process, 5-6 years that Omar Barada coming to say we'll win in 2028. Bro, it's 2024, bro. It's 2028. You know, by 2028, it will be 16 years since Man United won a major trophy. You're muted, Olo.
So, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I was going to say, but that tells you how much of a mess United are, because the person who's inside the club is telling you that it's going to take us 4 years to challenge and win the league, right? So he's looking at it from a long-term vision standpoint, which is sometimes as fans we don't get the opportunity to see that. And this is what I mean by when I say there needs to be a root and branch, like uprooting of United as a club. Like there is something fundamentally wrong in that club. Ronaldo came out and said there was something wrong
with the club, but fine.
Yeah, of course we don't. We're not in there on a day-to-day basis. But Ronaldo came in and said fundamentally there's a problem with the club right now. The way he said it and the way he did it with Piers Morgan obviously annoyed United fans. But he was saying something which is true, right? And even the way he disrespected Ten Hag was essentially an indication of what was happening within that dressing room, right? And for me, Ten Hag took it. He didn't fight back. Like again, I'll bring back to Arsenal. When Arteta had the issue with Aubameyang, he wiped his hand off him. He said he's not playing. He said you could sue. He went to the lawyers and said legally, what can we do to make sure he never plays? The first time Ten Hag got disrespected by Ronaldo was in preseason, and he still played him. There is something wrong with that club.
I don't think Ten Hag. I'm going to ask Staffy this. Do you actually think this guy, before I do the super chats, guys, I appreciate everyone sending super chat. Guys, it's about 750 people here. We really need to get to 300. Wallahi, Staffy, do you think this guy, Erik Ten Hag, is in the right frame of mind as just a human being?
No. There's a reason why Daniel Levy said this guy lacked character. Bro, just look at the way he talks, bro. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not even trying to be rude, but you can have like a 30-second convo with someone and be like, yeah, something's wrong with this guy. I'm never talking to him again. You can be like, oh yeah, this guy seems intelligent. Look at the stuff that he says, bro. He comes out today and we're like, we'll bounce back. Teams bounce back.
Oh, hold on. Did he say we'll bounce back today?
Yeah, he said that today.
Wallah al-azim talata, I don't know how you guys still like, I don't know how the fans didn't still boycott the stadium. Wallah, I don't know.
Bro, that's why they left early today. Let me read them to you real quick. He didn't say a lot of things, but look at this. Wallah, bro, elite level gaslighting. He said there will always be a new day. Thank you. I didn't know that, but thank you, Mr. Ten Hag. I told the guys in the dressing room, come on, tomorrow's a new day. We will bounce back, I'm sure. Bro, look at the players on the pitch, bro. Just read the room, bro. At some point, you got to understand, like, I don't believe you no more. I don't believe in you. Maybe I did at some point, and I don't believe you anymore. He said, we will bounce back. There's always a new day, and we will learn from it. My players are strong characters, and we will bounce back. We have to learn from this and quickly. I have a video of him, Mo, that he always talks about. Someone made just a comp of how many times he says, we got to stick to the plan. We got to stick to the plan. We got to stick to the plan. It's like a whole like 1 minute, and it's all different clips, by the way, where he just says the plan. And the guy, like, he's a content creator. He's not actually speaking to the Hag. He keeps saying, what is the plan? What is the plan? What is the plan? It is the funniest clip I've ever seen. He repeats things that sound nice, but just it's nothing tangible to it.
No substance.
Like, I don't know what that means. Mo, let me tell you this word. You know, in Arabic, when, let's say you had a bad day, and I'm like, yeah, malish. What does malish mean? You know, everyone hates that word because it's just, there's no substance behind it. oh yeah, Stavi, listen, today I got a flat tire. I missed work. You know, I gotta fix my tire now for 200. And I'm like, oh yeah, Mo Malish. And you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? What's the substance?
Yeah. What am I
What
supposed
am I
to do
doing
with
with
that?
it?
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Do
And
you know
that's
what
what
he
this
is?
guy does. He just says things, but there's no substance behind it.
Do you know what he is?
We're gonna learn. So what are we gonna learn?
He's
We're gonna
he's
bounce back. Okay, so what are you gonna do to bounce back? And he never does anything. He repeats the same thing over and over again. He always says these things, and then I watch the next game and I see the same mistakes being done again. So it's like, why are you allowed to say these things and walk freely? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to say anything crazy, but like, if I would ever to see Ten Hag, I would literally
He-
stop him and I would question him. I will.
And that's what I
interrogate him.
said. Wallahi, people think I'm being disrespectful.
I
I
interrogate
really
him. I'm
want to
not joking.
understand. Do really people watch this guy and think he is a normal guy like us? Like it's crazy.
in his mind, he thinks he's a motivational speaker.
Can-
And then when he
can I say one
opens
more
it,
thing? Sorry.
Motivational what,
For-
bro? Can you imagine this guy speaking every day in front of 40 people in the lecture in the dressing room, bro? This guy lectures players, bro. Tell them what to do.
This guy's
At
not
least he didn't buy a
motivating
dog.
anyone, bro. But let me read one more quote, okay? He said this.
Hey,
He said,
Will,
I'm not thinking
what's
about
up,
getting
Will?
being. One second. He said, I'm not thinking about being sacked. The audacity to come out and say, I'm not thinking about being sacked. I'm not thinking about being sacked. Not at all. We all made the decision to stay together. Ownership, staff, players, and myself. We made the decision clear to review of what we had to do. We knew it would take some time, and we're on the same page together. Brother, you sound like you're on that page alone. And if the staff, if the ownership are
deluded,
actually
right?
on board with this, I'm calling them out.
That's the definition of delusion, by the way.
Yeah,
Say
100%.
that to the media. That's the definition of delusion. Let me do these super chats. Sean, appreciate. Sorry, guys, it took a bit. Super chats were just Staffy have reached the acceptance stage of grief.
I can tell that Sean has never watched a minute of content of
No,
mine.
he watched Contest Fan TV because he actually said stage 5 acceptance.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Just go to the Liverpool one as an example. You'll see me. I've been laughing through the pain. People be like, "Why are you not raging?" And I'm like, "How many goals am I gonna rage? Khalas, I'm tired. I raged the first two. I gotta laugh at the third one."
I can't hurt no more.
Well, no banter. Can you
Two
tell
shots,
us,
two big missed
Werner-
chances, a bunch of crap. There you go.
Okay. Before you go, is Werner the worst? Like, is Werner the worst good player in the league? Like, I'm
good
just not,
players? One of the in my opinion, he's one of the worst players to play for a top 6 club.
no,
ever.
but, I mean, like, no, but he's a
Ever.
good. Okay, listen, no, he's a good player. The reason why he's a good player is because he actually. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I always say this: football. If you're in the Premier League, you're
We
the top
stop with the
1%.
jokes. It's okay. It's a serious
Listen,
thing.
just listen.
It's not like yesterday.
When you play in the Premier League, you're the top 1% of all football players on earth, and
Oh,
there's over 3 billion of us that play football, right? No, there is, and then he plays for Spurs, which means that he's in the higher percentile of that, right? And he plays for Germany, which means he's even in the higher percentile of that. However, he's so crap that I'm trying to figure out.
I just don't know how he did what he did in Germany. Like, how do you go from like having 3 seasons in a row where you're scoring 20 plus goals in the league, then come to England and just absolutely can't hit the
Like
broadside
he
of the
lacks
barn?
basic football abilities. Like basic football abilities. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
how do you score like 60 something goals in 3 seasons in Germany and then come here and you're one on with the keeper? Like, I understand if it's like the defenders are too rough for him or they're too good or something like that. These are one-on-ones, man. Like, how do you
Some
go from
players
scoring
just-
60
some
goals in
players just
3
score that.
seasons to not even hitting them one-on-one?
He's not built for it, cuz. He's not built for it up here, man. It's not easy to translate it from
But there
some
was no one
country that
around.
you've been. I don't know.
Cat, African Cat said most Man United fans won't wake up until holding hands with Wolves at the bottom. We have said this. This manager isn't the guy, including some players. They like hyping players. I'll tell you what, Staff is not one of these guys. I've watched Staff in the football terrace and with Saeed and all the stuff. But there are a lot of Man United fans that they hype players. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to let Staffy respond to you, African Cat. Wallahi, I have seen Man United fans think that Garnacho is good enough to be the starting winger for Manchester United.
But Homo, I deal with this every day. Canadian Cam, you know him from the terrace. I was live the other day and he was in my chat, so I sent him the link. He was trying to convince me how Bruno Fernandes is the best midfielder between us and Spurs. And I was like, he's not even the best midfielder in our team, let alone Spurs. And wallahi, I'm not joking. And we're talking about things like Ahmad, bro. I just knew he was gonna get dropped. That's why when Terry tweeted me, I don't know if you saw his tweet.
Ahmad is one of the guys that you guys rate higher than what he actually is.
But you know what it is, Mo? I
You
don't
guys
think
are
he's
starving. That's the
exactly.
problem.
But he is a good player. He fundamentally is a very good player, and it's something that we're deprived of. When you talk about Ahmad versus Garnacho as an example, we all know that Ahmad, as a football player all round, has a lot more than Garnacho. But Garnacho has so many other elements in his side. It's the fan base, the Ronaldo fan base, as an example. That's why he gets hyped up. The couple goals that he scores when he comes on, the basic footballing brain. And let me move this here to the middle screen because I don't want to keep looking to the side. The average United footballing brain doesn't understand that there's more to the game than GA. They were like, yeah, but he has 7 GA. You know how it's with 4 of them was against Barnsley.
I
And we really
understand
hyping
if
up
it's
Barnsley.
30 GA. That's the problem with some of the fan base. They compare 7 GA to 3 GA and they think the 7 is better. No, both are not good in terms of GA. You can compare 30 GA. You compare 25 GA.
No,
and
they're
say,
talking about the season so far. Like so far, he has like 7
bro,
GA.
he has 7 GA in all competitions, bro. Like,
Bro, 4 of them were against Barnsley, and that's what I'm trying to explain.
Barnsley,
They don't
yeah,
understand
Barnsley.
that. There's people that still watch Bruno Fernandes and they think he's a good player. Like I cannot. You just gone too far that I need to probably send you to a rehabilitation center. I can't rehab you. I'm not a qualified professional.
I
cannot
still
do
think
it.
he's not
Can I
that
can I
bad
say
as you guys
can
make
I
him be,
can I
but he's
can I
not as good as people make him be. He's not that bad.
can I
No, he's
just
pretty
give
bad.
one? Let me say one player who has been hyped up. Well, yeah, no, he's been hyped up by United fans. Which every time I've watched him play so far, I'm like, I don't understand. Xerxes, he looks so slow.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, but
It
here you
is
go. Let me
ridiculous.
respond. Being the Inter fan here, same with Onana. Okay, was fantastic with us. Second
I
half of
told
the
you.
season, literally, Onana
told-
was saving Inter game in, game out in the Champions League, in the league. And Anthony can attest to it. He was very good in the second half. And by the way, not only that, bro, his ball playing ability went back to Man United, bro. It's crazy, bro. How do you lose the sense of passing, bro?
I
Bro,
told you.
at Inter, bro, the guy used to ding like balls, bro, 50 yards to players' feet, bro.
Bro, don't compare Inzaghi's system to Eric Ten Hag. You know that Inzaghi, most of our
No, but that's the
opportunities
point he's trying to make.
start off the
Yeah, but
ball.
what about individual
all our
ability,
opportunities
bro? What
start
about
off
the
the ball.
passing? What about the passing? How
I
does
was just
the passing go backwards, bro?
Onana had pockets and triangles to pass and play into under Inzaghi that he doesn't even see with peripheral vision under Ten Hag. I'm telling you right now, you know this because all of Inter's players have been interchangeable for the last 2 years. We've got players zipping in and out of interlocking positions that they are not meant to be in, carrying defenders that they are not meant to carry. So that I think is a big thing with Onana's passing. Look at how much time he has to play those passes when he's at Inter, man. You've got Bastoni and Acerbi literally carrying and shape-shifting the angle of the defensive press. So I know what you mean, but I don't think Onana's got that sort of vision at the moment because for tactical reasons, not just isolated to him.
Guys, we shouldn't be talking about individuals. I'm
What's
sorry. We
what's
shouldn't be
second?
talking about individuals.
Let me finish
all.
the super chat before. Should never let Cristiano
No,
Ronaldo.
he had to go.
I'm gonna give it up. Give it
He
up.
had to go. He had to go.
Why?
But
Why are people saying that? The downfall
He was
did
right
not
though.
start-
I don't understand why Man
He was-
United fans got mad at him. They should have been like, "Yeah, this guy, he cares about the club. He loves the club. We should listen to what he has to say."
Well,
'cause
well,
he's-
Well, I'm
gonna
sorry.
lose it.
Which?
Fucking right.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Is this 2009 or we're talking about 2 years ago?
2
You're
years
talking
ago.
about 2 years ago.
Oh no, because I heard that the downfall of Man United started when they let Cristiano Ronaldo go and did not replace him in 2009.
how do you
It wasn't
replace
the
Ronaldo?
downfall in just footballing terms. When you look at the way we replaced them, it just showed you what the club was becoming at that
Yes,
time.
yes.
So it's not in terms of Ronaldo left, who did we just get? The fact that we sold the best player in the world and we thought, you know what, let's sign at that time we signed Valencia, Oberton, and I probably can't remember who else. Anthony, you could probably remember. There was one more player we signed, and it was an absolutely embarrassing summer. And people looked at it as like, that's when United fell off. Not necessarily for the like for like replacement. The fact that you can replace the best
mentality
player in
of
the world
how-
with that,
Was it-
because you didn't try to get.
You know,
okay,
the
who's
problem
next
is
one?
Alex Ferguson was the genius, and that's what a lot of people say. But Pep is the genius. You guys
What's his
don't
name?
understand. He literally, Alex Ferguson, won the league with John O'Shea, with Brown playing right back. I'm sorry, Darren Fletcher as a defensive midfielder. Yes, they had Carrick, they had Rooney. Guys, people don't understand how good he was. Right at that time, Alex Ferguson utilizing talent.
People like Hamza revising history. Hamza
No,
has
but
a
you
lot
don't
of-
know.
different,
You don't
different
know.
time,
I
different time,
remember
different culture.
I remember watching Man United. I'm like, these are not good players, but they still win because of Alex Ferguson. These should
Look
but
at the
the
team
thing
we
ab-
won the league with, Mo. That team we won the league with in 2013 was not that good, by the way. When you really deep it was a washed Rooney. We had Kagawa who couldn't settle in England. We had a
Nani
washed Vidic who was
Rafael.
always injured. We had a washed Rio who ended up going to QPR a year
Yeah.
later. Our midfield wasn't that good. The only superstar we had on that team was really Robin van Persie. It was an
David
absolute
Bellion.
carry.
David
but the
Bellion,
point,
that's his
David, he's
name.
still young. But the thing about it,
Wait, hold
the
on.
point
Sorry.
about this is that
Sorry,
that
hold
is
on.
the mentality of the club. So I get this.
Sorry.
Victor
What's
here
what's
is
that?
saying it's only a Tottenham fan
I don't recognize that.
that one. Can I just say,
You know you recognize that. You was probably in
me-
the
No,
game.
He
Let
was
me
there.
do
He
the
was.
super
He
chat,
doesn't.
guys.
Go on. Sorry, go on.
Let me do the super chat.
David Bellion.
It's only a Tottenham fan that want. I can't. That want.
They will
like,
want
Talk
to let you
about-
know to talk about heritage.
about-
about
Heritage.
heritage because your heritage is full of heartbreak. Heritage makes Madrid scary, even when the recent performance is poor.
Yeah, except
that's-
you must be about 13 years old, and you probably don't know English football very well. Because if you don't know about Tottenham's heritage, then you don't know football, right? Let me school you real quick. I'll school you in 30 seconds, right?
Ooh.
First non-league football team to ever win the FA Cup in 1901, right?
Mm.
First English club ever to win a European trophy. First your English club to ever win a UEFA trophy. The only club besides Manchester United who won a trophy in every decade from 1950 to 2010. So Bill Nick, have you ever heard of him? If you haven't, then you don't know football, English football, right? So learn a little bit. But the reason why I don't bring this up when I talk to people is because it's not recent history. It's not relevant to how well Tottenham has performed in the Premier League era, is it?
I was going to say all that is in
First
black.
English club to ever win 8 FA Cups.
That's all
Can
that
I
is in
wait?
black. All that is in
wait.
black and white.
United,
Black
guys,
and
let
white
me
TV.
this. United need a manager with balls and personality. I agree 100%. They need a manager with balls. The problem is they thought Ten Hag is that guy because, as Hussam just said, he talks the talk, but he never does anything.
Personality.
Get
Can I
us
just
Ten
say
Hag.
one thing, Mo, in
Fernando.
reply to you before, Mo? Like, you got to remember, in response to the whole Man United won the league with such and such players that weren't even good, this is right on the cusp of the biggest shapeshifter to psychology in the world, which is social media, in terms of respect to your ego. And for people who think this isn't playing a role in modern football, you're joking. This is back in the time where if you had a bad performance, there was a trainer waiting to slap you across the head, bury your head in a locker room and go, you better pick it up, son, or you're going straight to the reserves. Players lose games nowadays. Take out their phone, post a quote or a selfie to social media.
Did you see Mason Mount's post?
Get 60,000 likes in 3 minutes. If you don't know what sort of damage that does to the part of your ego in terms of validating your behavior and validating your existence, you're off your head. These players post these quotes and selfies. You think they care about the result? After what? Seeing the 7 or 8 baddies that are in their DMs that want to do you know what to them about 9 minutes after they get out of the shower and out of that ground on that night. They don't care. There is no fear of failure. None. And whoever talks about it in the media is lying to you. They just don't care, man. There's too many other dopamine depleters in the world these days for athletes. They don't care.
Bro, Mount
Also-
posted a selfie with his stitches saying,
Yeah.
I'm okay, guys, and a little smile. Bro, I don't give a fuck, bro. We lost today.
Also,
You don't
back
need
in
to
the
tell me
day,
you're okay. I know you're okay.
I was gonna say back in the days, all they had was newspapers or the TV, and they could turn that off, right? Or don't pick up a newspaper, so they didn't have to read anything, so you could be isolated, and the manager could work in them. Now, like you said, they could get dopamine hit from playing badly, but people saying everything's okay, or the other way, get abused left, right, and center, right? And there's no turning away from it. So yeah, social media also has had a detrimental impact
Yes,
on
100%.
some.
Can I ask a question, Mo? Because I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bit secondhand disrespect for Will here. That we spent an hour and a half.
Yeah,
or
I'm
an hour
gonna
15
shift to
talking about
Spurs now.
United.
Actually,
Can we talk
because
about?
there
I
has
just
to
want to
be
ask a
conversation
question.
about Van de Ven, but let me do this couple of super chats. Sean, just pointing this out, but Nice has yo-yoed better
Between.
fifth and ninth, have yo-yoed between 5th and 9th since 2020. Not that this will happen to United, but it's precedented set by Ineos. If United keep bouncing between 5th and 9th in the next 5 years, I guarantee you the fan base will shrink because there is no kid that will support Man United unless their dad is a Man United fan. I promise you this, Sean. And it will happen. When Tuchel came in Chelsea, he said, we will build a team no one wants to play against. From that, he enlisted a mentality to fight and win the Champions League. That's exactly what we're talking about, that guy. They need a mentality like this. But I want to go to Spurs, and I want to talk about a certain player, Will. Van de Ven. I know a lot of you Spurs fans like to talk about Romero and all this stuff. But Van de Ven is so disrespected in the league at the current moment.
I said he's better than Gabriel. They laughed at me.
No, I mean, look, I always
Sorry,
say
Alan.
that our center back pairing is better than Arsenal's. I don't know why it's not a far stretch. It's the
I think
truth.
it's a crazy take.
It's 100% the truth. Factually, statistically, whatever way you want to look at it, besides people's weird subjective opinions, which, hey, you can believe the moon's made out of cheese, doesn't mean that it is. So, yeah, no, I think he's a brilliant player. One of the best signings that we've had in that back line since Romero. And, you know, it almost feels like the Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen era. I mean, which was probably one of the best center back pairings during their, you know, Pochettino period at that time. So, you know, the pre Van Dijk era in the league. So,
Really?
I can see. Wait, sorry. I was going to say I can see the chat is just going a bit crazy on your better than Gabriel and Saliba. Chat. Sometimes you just don't react. Sometimes you just let people believe whatever they want to believe. And
see, I don't believe. I don't have subjective opinions. I base
fine.
all of my opinions are grounded in actual facts. So until someone can actually show me statistics or player ratings or anything that has an Arsenal center back rated higher than those two, then I'll say, yeah, you're right.
Okay, so we use Excel spreadsheets to judge.
Yeah, when we're comparing things objectively, yes,
that's fine. That's okay. Again, that's perfectly
literally
fine.
what spreadsheets are for, is objectivity.
Again, perfectly
Can I ask
fine.
you a question? Do you
Perfectly
think
fine.
Van de Ven, Anthony's gonna go? I know it's all right, Anthony. You could just hop off if you want, whenever. But I want to ask you something, Olo. Do you think Van de Ven can be a better defender than Gabriel? That is the question.
He's got the tools, right? And the one thing that he's got, which Gabriel doesn't have, which is natural pace. And that pace will get him out of so many problems. So even if he's making a mistake, quote unquote, that pace will get him out of it. I don't think Gabriel has the same luxury. So I'll say that he has all the tools to be a top player. I think the only thing that's going to stop him is going to be injuries, because quite frankly, to be that quick and to be that big isn't natural. Unless he's an American football player, and we even know how their bodies break down eventually. To be that big and that quick is not natural. And I think that we saw last year when the hamstring injury happened, which again, you know, it is what it is, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen each time, but there is a threat.
Argue with that logic, Olo, because it's 2024. There is a lot of medic. I was literally talking to my wife about this, and my wife is a doctor. I was literally talking to her, and she said that the body has limits. Right,
exactly.
Van de Ven is because she saw the guy, and I'm like, he's so quick, right? He's so quick for his body, and he's so quick. To be honest, he's the fastest player ever in the Premier League, guys. Not a defender ever in the Premier League, right?
That's what I'm saying, Mo. He's the best
since they started recording,
carrying the ball.
The fastest ever.
Yeah,
right. No Aaron Lennon, no Theo Walcott, no this. Since they started recording speed, right? To be that big as a defender and be that quick.
It does. And the problem as well, and I'll go back, you know, Will can continue after this. The problem is that he's having to do those sprints a hell of a lot during the game, right? And like you said, your wife said it, there's only so much a body can take. So
hold on. Okay, so
wait 1 second.
Hold on, because you're about to go down a road here that's not actually true. For athletes, it's when you go from not running a lot. So the more he has to run, the better his legs will stay in shape, because it's your body adapts, right?
Of course.
It's when you go to doing something that you're not used to that your muscles go.
But it's
like
weird. But it's wear and tear.
He injured twice already.
No,
but in 1.5
different
in
injuries.
less than 1.5 career twice.
Wait, Mo, we got to be honest. That Chelsea game, when he got injured, it was because of the stoppages. Remember how many VAR checks? You know, since you mentioned American football, the reason a lot of players get injured a lot is because there's too many stoppages. It's
Yeah.
they
Must
play
cool
and then
down.
they stop, then they play, then this. Eventually, the body, when it gets too cold and it performs at that high level, you pick up more injuries. That Chelsea game that day, it felt like an NFL game because go back and watch how many stoppages it
Yeah,
was
a lot.
when he picked up that injury. I forgot there was about 2 or 3 VAR checks that happened in offside goals and stuff like that.
And they were
When
like
you
2
look
and
at
3
it,
minutes long.
scientifically, Will isn't wrong because it's not like he was running the whole game and it just gave up on him. No, he got cold and then it gave up on him.
And too, like
go on,
you
sorry,
also
go on.
have like, and that's why you see far more. You see far less hamstring injuries in the NBA than you do in the NFL.
They keep moving. I do agree with you. I'm just saying that.
That's
And I
actually
must say it's
not
good.
true. The people
I'm
that
not-
say speak in fact, that's actually not true.
Wait
That
1 second.
Gareth Bale was faster than him. They said
Oh,
it today that since they started recording
It'll be top
speed,
speed. His top speed
he
will be the highest.
has, like, in terms of, like, I think they measure it like 50 yards. He's the fastest guy to run 50 yards.
They'll be talking about his top speed. So the speed he gets to is maximum sort of stride length.
Mm.
But the thing I'm trying to say though is this: is like, I agree with you. If it's stop start, it has an effect on him. I totally, that point is true. I'm just saying though that we've seen that players who've got hamstring injuries when they're young continue, and maybe medical science has moved on for players since then, right? I think of Michael Owen. Michael Owen, rapid when he was younger, and he's smaller than him, right? And the minute his hamstring started to go, it was a repeated injury over and over and over and over. And that's what really broke him
But we're
down,
not
right?
gonna assume this, Olo. We're gonna
I'm not
analyze
assuming,
what's in front of us.
But that's why I said he has the ability to be the best defender in the world. The issue will be if his body allows him to do that. That's the difference. And also he's young right now. So obviously right now, a lot of it is youthful sort of, his body can adapt and react, and heal faster. When he gets a little bit older.
By the way, Olo, if he goes this season without a major injury in hamstrings, khalas, this whole theory is gone, right?
It's not
Because they still fucking run every game. Have you seen them running every game, Spurs?
No, but it doesn't have to be this season. It could be next season. It could be season after this. We don't know. I'm just saying. You asked me.
And anyone can rupture their ACL anytime, and their career is over.
I know, but
I
you
can
said
do the same thing, bro. I can do the same.
You said to me, is he okay? As someone just said, Reece James. Reece James is a perfect example. Someone who's muscular, big for his body, and look at how many times he's got hamstring injuries. I'm just talking about the size of the man, to the speed he generates is freakish. And so he has the tools. The only thing that I would say that could stop him will be his injuries.
So I agree with you. Compared to the average size or stature of a Premier League player, it's a bit freakish, right? But you got to realize that in other sports, especially like the NFL, like being 6'4" and being pretty fast isn't a weird thing in the NFL. There are guys that are 6'10" that are probably faster than Van de Ven playing in the NFL, right? So it's like it's not that unusual as far as like humanity is concerned. It's just that the average height of a football player is like 5'11".
But they also lift heavyweights.
I want to move on from the injury and actually talk about the ability and Spurs game and how Spurs now. Where are they? Where do people rank them? I'm gonna ask Staffy first about this. Where do you rank them in the teams in the league? Because that is my prediction that I think Chelsea will make top 4, right? I said Spurs will finish 7th or something like this.
I don't think they'll finish 7th. Listen, in the beginning of the season, I said I'll put United, Chelsea, Spurs, and Villa as potential contenders for that 4th spot. Now, 5 games in, I can already see which ones of these I think are going to flop and which ones actually are going to compete. And I still think Chelsea, honestly, they've overperformed my expectations because I thought it would take them time to adapt to Maresca's ideas and get to gel together and all that stuff, but they've done well so far. Spurs, I really, really, really rate Ange, and people don't understand how much I rate this guy. His lack of adaptability in games is always going to be an issue for me. And Villa, obviously, Villa are doing their thing, and I was just looking at Europe. It's new to them. I don't know how they're going to balance it. United are out of this. United have been out of this for weeks for me, so they're no longer.
Yeah. I don't think you're in the question. I
was like, I like the signings. Let me see. I was like, let me see if they're gonna overperform the manager's tactics. Clearly, it's not gonna happen anymore.
They didn't. So
Spurs, however, my biggest concern with them is that Ange, he needs better tools. I like most of their players, but listen, I mean, Will's sitting here talking about what's his name, Timo Werner. Like he knows that some of his replacements are not good enough. If God forbid, and I obviously don't wish injuries on anyone, but if God forbid something happens to Spurs and they lose Solanke, that's a drop off. They lose Son, we've seen it. It's a drop off. They won today, but it's not going to work every time because you don't get to play United every time. The drop off, I think, between some of the players that I rate and the replacements in most positions is just too significant. So I can rate the team as it is right now. I'll put them as a contender for fourth place, but it's going to come down to injuries, in my opinion. Chelsea can afford to have injuries because they have a loaded squad. Aston Villa, I would put them kind of in the same bracket as Spurs. If they get major injuries, I don't know where to put them. But as I said, those two things, the lack of adaptability and the lack of depth, is going to be an issue. But just pure on ability and what I've seen so far, even though they haven't had the best results, I think they're a contender for fourth spot. I really do see them getting top 4.
Look, I think that we're going to be in and around that 5th or 4th spot. Personally, I've said that since the beginning of the season. I think it was absolutely absurd when we did those predictions at the beginning of the season and people were saying Manchester United were going to finish above us. I think that's just club loyalty. I think that was obvious today. Ahmed said that they were finishing in the top 4.
Every time you say Ahmed, I need you to look at yourself. Ahmed said it.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just saying, he likes to talk big.
I love
Ahmed,
but come on, Ahmed is not our representative. Come on, he's not our spokesperson.
No, but that's why I mentioned his name specifically, so I know you guys know who I'm talking about, rather than Dayu, who's like, all you Spurs fans. No Spurs fans ever said that. Yeah, no, I think that this is the same thing that I've said everything this season, and it was based on who we signed in the transfer window. Because we didn't pick up any wingers that can actually finish on a regular basis, in the system that we need, every game is going to look like this. Every game this season, and Ange Postecoglou has been exactly right. He said in his press conference today, when they were talking to him on NBC or whatever, USA, whatever network it was on, the performances this season have been exactly like they were today. It's just that the quality of the end product wasn't the same, or the result wasn't the same, right? And that's because we either finish our chances or we don't. But the number of chances that we're creating is no different in any of the 6 games that we've played this season in the league. They've all been exactly the same. The possession stats are almost exactly the same. It's almost like literally you can almost fill out the stat sheet before the game even plays. Spurs, 63%. Spurs, 20+ shots. Spurs, it's just a matter of how many big chances we've missed. That's the only one you don't know. Because it could be small or it could be ginormous. And then that will tell us whether we win or lose the game. But the performances don't change. And at least that we're consistent. And I think look, as much as heat, we have a lot of fans in the Spurs fan base that have been cussing. And look, if you can say one thing about me, you may not like the fact that I'm stat guy. You may not like the fact that I'm this, that, and the other thing. But at least I don't flip-flop my opinion every single week on the football terrace after a sports game. Oh, Ange is horrible. He needs to go. Oh, Ange is good. Ange is bad. Ange is good. Ange is bad. Ange is good. I don't do that, do I? I'm consistent. I look at it. I research what's going on. I know what the truth is, and I base my opinion, and I'm calm and I'm level. I'm not a flip flopper. I'm not the Joe Biden of YouTube like some people in the Spurs fan base. Yes, I'm taking shots. Deal with it. Want me to start naming names?
It's okay. People can change their opinion. But it's
it's a difference. Changing your opinion based off of emotion is not correct.
Now, no, but changing my opinion, I'm going to tell you something. I said, if he changes things, I'm going to change my opinion. If I see in the next 2-3 games, you playing that high line again and you conceding 5 chances in the game or 5 opportunities in the game and not converting your chances, I'm not going to change my opinion. But if I see consistency, like what he did today, adapting during the game, because I believe Spurs can win a lot of games if he changes a little bit of his philosophy. Right?
I didn't say what. I mean, what did he adapt though? How did we play any different between this game and what we did against Arsenal?
Look at your positional place today. Just go look at the heat maps. Just go to the sofa score. Compare heat maps of your players versus against Arsenal. Warranted, you weren't winning against Arsenal. Okay. Today you were
Are
winning.
you talking about? Okay, so if you're
I
looking
was
at our
talking
positional,
about. I saw Spurs today playing offside about across the 18 yards line. You know, Garnacho was offside. That is different from you giving Garnacho and Rashford spaces to run 50 yards.
yeah, but there
when
was
you're
times
winning.
when we
That
were
is
playing.
my
it.
point.
So if you watch Postecoglou, he has 2 lines, and we'll do this anyway. You can literally even see on a go back and watch. I don't know if you watched the Europa League game, but go back and watch the Europa League game or a highlight of it. Anytime that the ball we are in our defensive third, it's a hard line at the edge of the 18-yard box.
That's
I mean,
fantastic because that's
you
what
will
every
literally
team
watch
does.
players straight across the line, or it's the halfway line. It just depends on where the ball
Yeah,
is.
for me, once you do a halfway line, if you're winning, I think that's stupidity. But that's my personal opinion in football. I think that's stupidity because you doing that line, you're raising the risk from 10% to 40.
Yeah, but
That's my opinion.
most top teams will put their defenders on the halfway line when they have the
nobody
ball.
does this.
Even
No, when
Gabriel
we're in the
sometimes.
attacking third, we do.
Yeah, even Gabriel sometimes will drop into the midfield between the
But I
opponent's
think you're missing the
midfield.
point. Spurs don't do this.
Yeah, they do.
Spurs don't do this. Against Newcastle, they saw the player getting dispossessed and they saw the player going through the midfield and still the line was at the halfway line. I get what you're saying when you have the ball.
Okay, I see what you mean.
But once you lose the ball,
you're saying they don't
Van
drop back.
Dijk and Konate create depth behind the fullbacks to avoid being. Does that make sense? That is my point. Bro, what's his name? Romero was watching that Newcastle player dribbling and he stood halfway line instead of creating depth.
Because I remember that actually.
That's a different
Okay,
thing.
so I agree, but the reason why they're doing that, and this is Ange Postecoglou to a T, if you've studied any of his past teams and what he does, is they use the halfway line as an offside trap. So they are instructed to stand there until so that they do play. Ange Postecoglou wants them to play that ball over the top because then the keeper has space to sweep it up. That's why he has a specific type of keeper. That's why even though Vicario is horrible at balls coming across the face of goal on set pieces, he's really good as a sweeper keeper to sweep it up or you catch him offsides. That's what he does. He plays an offside trap.
So I think
it's too risky. It's too risky. Go on. I gotta finish the show because I gotta go. To be honest,
before you go, one last thing. One last thing before we go. Bruno, red card or not? Staffy, what do you think?
0 chance red card.
I don't care if it is or not. I'm happy it happened.
0 chance red card. 0 chance.
Chat, what do you think? Red card or not?
0 chance red card. Gabriel dunked on that defense. Have some shame for the corner. Has nothing to do with the ability.
Because you scored a corner kick in a game in which you literally had like 4 shots.
Hey.
Good job. You dunked on us.
They think I love when people think football is like black and white. Like
it's like he won. Gabriel scored. But I think Gabriel is better. I still think Gabriel is a better because
bro, it's very good.
Yeah. Gabriel is amazing. I think he's one of the better defenders. In
I think he's the best Arsenal defender.
Yeah,
way better
him,
than
Saliba, and Van Dijk for me are top 3. But for people to say the reason why Gabriel is better is because he scored the corner, I think that's shameless. I think that's more shameless.
Bro, that's like when United fans told us McTominay is good because he scored goals. I mean, you're a midfielder. What did you do in the midfield?
Hey, he's balling out.
Man.
He's balling out for Napoli. Just put it out.
Anyway, let me
define balling out.
Love to see Van de Ven pull a Campbell and replace Gabriel. Fuck me.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Ah, Sean.
No.
Oh my God, Spurs fans hard. Will said he into flip-flop, but he allowed Deji to brainwash him into believing they will finish above Arsenal last season and that they were a better position to perform than Arsenal this season. Okay, I'm gonna let Will respond.
Yeah, so first of all, Deji doesn't brainwash me to do anything. I've literally done, I think, 1 YouTube show in the 3.5 years I've been doing YouTube with Deji. And yeah, no, that's based on my own opinions. From literally watching the first 10 games of the season to seeing how we were playing, just seeing how
that was
Arsenal
last
plays.
season.
Yeah,
but I'm just,
last season.
I don't think this season you ever said that.
I have never said that this season, no.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was because we didn't sign anyone who can actually score goals.
Yeah. Believe the red to Bruno was
what do you mean? You don't rate Solanke?
They aren't even creating for him, Staffy. They are
Yeah,
creating
and he
different
still
people.
bagged 3 goals in 3 games.
What I mean by our wingers are more important than the striker, in my opinion. Son will score as many, if not more, goals playing the number 9 as Solanke will.
Yeah. I believe the red for Bruno was a bit harsh. Okay, Sean, I'm just going to respond to you. A bit harsh is putting it mildly. That was a scandalous decision.
It wasn't.
In my opinion.
It wasn't. And I'll give you the reason why very quickly.
Reason. Still,
but go on.
Slipped and stuck out a lazy leg. Would have been a different game, 11 versus 11. I actually think.
No, we got him better when he got sent off. Thank
Bro,
you. Give him a record.
better with 10 men.
All right,
you know what? You're lying, though, because on the terrace you said the team actually looked better when he went off because of his personality.
I said that. I said you looked better because the leader, he's a.
So why are you saying the game would have been different? It would have been worse for us.
Super chat saying this.
Oh, my bad. Well, my bad. I didn't.
Right. Can I quickly say why I think it was a red?
Flip-flopping. I heard him earlier.
I'll say quickly why I think it was a red, and the reason I'm saying it was a red is because the precedent has come before that. So I always go back to this: Man United versus Arsenal, Old Trafford. Vieira sticks out legs in emotion like he was going to kick Van Nistelrooy. They sent him off because they said even though he didn't touch him, the intent was there. I think with Bruno, whilst he was slipping, the fact that he's intense in terms of sticking his leg out and how high it was caused the referee to make a decision, which is why it was a red.
Hold on. Number one, intent is different in tackles than punching. If you intend to punch someone, yes, that's called violent conduct because you're intending to punch. Hold on, let me finish. I can tackle and raise my leg and still get the player on the shin by my leg itself to trip them. Although that's not a red card, it's a yellow card in football. There is a difference if I'm going squads and I want to hurt the player. Bruno stuck a leg out to prevent Madison from advancing.
His studs were up though. His studs, the angle of studs were towards his foot.
He got sent up because he looks like a sewer rat, and I see a lot of them in the city here.
I like
he's a sewer rat, and that's
Tanya saying Salamu alaikum. Alaikum salam, Tanya. Thank you so much for the support. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. People, stay here. But before you go, Staffy's channel is in the description. Staffy TV. Go watch the match reaction. You have to watch. You have to watch the match reaction. It's fun. It's entertaining, right? It's absolutely entertaining to watch the match reaction.
I no longer do live match reactions because these people rattle me. So what I do is I just drop a pre-record.
And a pre-record Staffy TV. Go watch Staffy TV, of course. But this video, this super chat, there's super chat to do again. My guy, Mav here is saying Spurs total shots 15, Arsenal 7, shots on target 5 to 4, big chances 0 to Arsenal. To what is this man waffling about?
You guys get
0 Spurs to Arsenal. That is stats.
I was going to. So before we end,
on target 4 or 5. I was off by 1, and I'm not looking at the numbers.
I was going to say that before we finish, I always got to do this. So everyone, do you think United will finish on a positive goal difference this year?
No. We're not scoring more goals.
I swear to God, the conversation has to move from the United finish top 4 to positive goal difference or negative.
That's the question now.
I actually think that's way more fun. It's way more fun than actually doing top 4.
So chat, say yes or no.
You give me an idea for a show tomorrow.
Yes,
tomorrow early on Staffy TV. Fantastic. I'll be up in the AM and you will see a video. Will we finish on positive goal difference? That will be the conversation tomorrow.
So everyone in the chat as well, what do you think the goal difference will be?
Guys, appreciate everyone that is here. Thank you. Well, this will take you to Inter Worldwide. Anthony's channel, the channel I started with doing content. Go subscribe, people. Very close to 4K. We'll see you guys soon. We are out of here, people.